Welcome to the Wedco podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started. Hello and welcome to the Wedco podcast. I'm Toga from the Tognazinis.
And I'm Joel from Wanna Follow Images, and we're here at the amazing Gabbinbar homestead.
And today you are stuck with just us two. We are back. This will be a regular month thing where we just have a chat where we don't have another vendor in.
Yep.
And just kind of talk about more our thoughts on the industry and maybe try and give a bit more insights to couples about their wedding day and any little bits of tits and bits we can give them.
For sure. On that note,
yep.
If you got any questions, we'd love to hear from you. We put a poll out a couple of weeks ago. No, a week ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had a bunch of questions roll in. So if you have any questions that you want answered or tips, tricks, advice, anything like that, let us know.
Yep. Whether you're vendors or couples, either one is good.
Yep, for sure.
It would be nice. Anyway, welcome to the podcast, Joel.
Thank you. Welcome to you too.
All right. Well, I guess maybe we can start with Runsheets, one that kind of everyone's tackling at the moment.
Yep.
But I think it'll still be good for us to kind of touch base about how we run our day from photo video standpoint.
For sure.
And how much time I guess we allot to each side of things.
Yeah. So I guess for me, start to finish, it'd be these are all allowances. So I like to allow a little bit more because I know that things are going to run over here and there and everywhere because we know that things just happen. So for groom prep, I run an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Bride prep, I run an hour and a half.
Yep.
I like to get to the ceremony 30 minutes before it starts. Just to hopefully capture guests rocking up, set up tripods, audio, all those different types of things.
Yep.
Obviously shoot ceremony, and then after ceremony, I normally roll into like a group photo, family photo session.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, about half an hour.
Yep.
It's depending. I read something somewhere, and it was like allow a minute per photo.
Okay.
Which I think kind of rings true.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you got 30 family photos, then you got 30 minutes.
Yep.
But also 30 family photos is a lot. Bridal party.
Yeah. How long do you usually have for like the say the portrait shoot and stuff like that?
So bridal party, I do 30 minutes. Same thing, like an allowance of 30 minutes. It's probably honestly only like 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
Same thing for portraits. I allow 30 minutes and it's probably like 20, 25.
Mm-hmm.
But it can kind of go either way, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it could be easily one of those things where you just absolutely vibing out and the couple's having a good time. They're enjoying themselves and you could be like, cool, let's just like run this for another 10, 15 minutes.
How long would the weekend have been? That would have been, I reckon that would have been an hour, like when everyone was just loving it.
With the bridal party at the end?
Well, like with everyone at the end there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, true. Actually, it would have been just over an hour with the bridal party and their portraits.
Yeah. So just, I guess it depends, like, because they were really keen on photos, like 100%. Photos and videos, like that was their thing for the day.
Yeah, for sure. They didn't really care too much about joining canopy hour. They were like, we'd rather cut, because I had them in joining canopy hour for like 45 minutes.
Yep. And
then they were like, no, like let's cut out of that because we want to get in the helicopter and we want to show us to the helicopter. Then we want the horses running behind us. And it was like a lot of these things that they're like, we'd rather get that than go and have a drink.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's just what was important to them, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
A lot of moving parts and stuff, but yeah.
Yep.
So 30 minutes for each of those kind of segments and then the reception.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever the reception is. You're probably much the same.
Awesome. Yeah, so like even if working backwards, say, most ceremonies now, I guess are like say 3-ish.
Yeah.
So, if everyone's within 15 minutes of each other, it might even be, say, what are we, 11:30 till 12:30 for the I'll say groom prep. Might get upset that I'm not saying bride, like whatever. The first partner's prep A. We'll say like will be that hour.
Yeah.
And then we'll say travel over to the next prep and that would be, an hour and a half as well. Probably want hair and makeup to be pretty much done by the time we arrive.
Yeah. For sure.
Unless like maybe bride wants a little touch up or something like that at the end.
Yeah. But that can even be a stage thing.
Exactly right.
Throwing some, I don't even know what the word is, mascara.
Yeah. But yeah, so that might even be an hour and a half, like start, we'll do all the dress, flowers, all the details and everything like that. The girls can kind of get themselves sorted, maybe some champagne popping, some robes, whatever they want to do.
PJs,
Yep. And then getting into the dress after that. So yeah, pretty much an hour and a half is perfect.
Yep.
Head off. I'm definitely more like I would like 45 at the ceremony to be safe.
Yep.
Just because you never know, like with celebrants, what they're bringing as far as like setting up audio and all that kind of stuff. And it can even be that, you know, all the tripods and everything are all set up, but then the celebrant doesn't arrive for a little bit. So you're kind of scratching for that time later.
Yep.
So I'm definitely like, if I can get 45 minutes before ceremony, that's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. And then obviously ceremony, straight into group family photos, which you're still doing group photos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think most people are still doing it. I just have it like on my questionnaire. I just have it like, do you want a group photo?
Yep.
I think in the last year I've had one person not tick it.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly, like, there was a big pushback against like group photos. I think it was like maybe around that like kind of time that people were like, oh, you're wedding your way, and like people like really, really diving deep into like, do you need a group photo? You're not gonna ever share it.
Yeah.
From like a selfish point of view, I think it's a great time for me because I'm loud spoken, so I can just like jump up on a chair. I kind of rally everyone together and get a group photo, and then I've got everyone's attention, and I can be like, cool, everyone, we're going to do family photos. We're going to do it over here.
Yep.
So if you're immediate family, head over there. Otherwise, everyone else, you can go away. It just means that they're not having to like search the property for grandpa or because he's going to the bathroom, or Uncle Barry because he's going to the bar and he's already getting sloshed. So from a selfish perspective, I like it.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's going to be upset if they got a group photo, if I can be honest.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think... Like, I definitely was kind of part of that trend where I was like, oh, group photos are weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. The more I think about it, I'm like, it's not really that bad.
Yeah. 10 minutes, it's done.
Yeah.
And I think it's more so like the personality. Like, yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do on a wedding day.
For sure.
It's definitely like once you get past the group photo, you're like, I can breathe. You know, I'm done. But with how good celebrants and everything have been lately too, like most of them are just like, hey, I'll just jump on the mic and tell everyone there's a group photo over there.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to, with that help, to get everyone over to the spot where you need it.
Definitely.
The DIY wedding where it's, you know, you're at a farm or something like that and you have to do that yourself, it's a bit of a different story.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like 10 minutes, it's done. Everyone ends up loving it.
For sure.
And then they're going off and getting drinks.
Exactly.
You know, like no one's like, ugh, like that was the worst.
Yeah. Just kind of like, because you kind of walk back out of the ceremony, everyone's congratulating, hugs and kisses, all those things. And then kind of almost people don't really know what to do from there, especially if you're at a proper venue, they're like, cool, this way, or they've got people waiting with trays of drinks like they do here at Gabbinbar. But like if you're at a private property wedding, like no one really knows where to go or what to do.
Yeah.
So if I can just stand there, head this way, that's where the cocktail area is because I saw the bar earlier.
Yep.
But for me, even it's like a good opportunity because you're kind of floating around the whole morning of.
Yep.
Right. And so the important people like the bridegroom, bridal party, mums, dads, those kinds of things, they've all got an idea who you are because you're talking to them all morning.
Yeah.
But then you kind of get to the ceremony and you're setting things up. People see you running around, setting up tripods, doing all your things. You kind of have it, and they kind of like, you see them looking at you. They're like, who's this guy?
Who's this guy?
And so just like kind of being able to like break the ice with everyone at the same time. It's like, hey guys, I'm Joel, I'm a photographer. This is Steve, he's a videographer, blah, blah, blah. Like it just kind of, now everyone knows me.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So then when you're walking around later getting photos of everyone, they know who you are. They're not so worried about the camera over in the corner over there.
They're not like, who's this like 10-year-old kid running around with the camera? So I from a personal perspective, I quite like it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an issue with them. Also, I think it's nice to have a photo of all the people that you put a lot of time planning that wedding, inviting those guests, going through who should we get rid of, who should we invite, all those things. So like just get a photo with everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
Done. And then, I guess like if you want to have like the perfect flow for reception, it's kind of like, I would definitely like it where, you know, you kind of go from, I mean, it always kind of works this way, like speeches, food, speeches, finished off with the couple speech.
Yeah.
Cake cut, if they're doing cake cut, straight into like the first dances.
Yep.
Obviously the first dance at the moment is...
Well, before we jump into first dance, we can talk about, I even think, I've been telling my clients to do their bridal entrance.
Yep.
Straight into cake cut.
Awesome.
Because it's just like, cake cuts can be an awkward thing. It's just I remember from my wedding, it was like, cool, we're now going to do the cake cut. Everyone like look this way.
Yeah.
We walk over and you're like, how do we cut a cake?
Yeah.
And then you're like standing there and you're like, okay, cool. And you cut the cake, you might kiss, and then you're like, okay, what now?
Yep.
So if you can just be like, ride the hive, everyone's swinging napkins or doing whatever you're doing at the entrance.
Yep.
You run over, you cut the cake, you have a kiss, you feed someone some of it to your partner or whatever, and then you go sit down and it's done.
Yep.
Like then they can wheel the cake away whenever they need to and cut it up or whatever you're doing. Then it's just done.
Yeah. I've even seen it in canapé hour, and that works well as well.
For sure.
Like really good, like
true.
natural light, but then like everyone's still in high vibes and you're having it, and then everyone's grabbing like a piece of cake with their drinks or whatever as well.
Yep, definitely.
And that works like awesome as well.
Oh, that's a great idea. having a cocktail hour with a champagne tower.
Yep.
And cake.
Cake done. What more do you need?
Oh, that's a vibe. Someone's got to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. But yeah, first dance.
Yep. So I listened to a podcast recently, another good Australian one, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying they didn't like father-daughter dances.
Okay.
And I was definitely against that, especially like having 3 daughters.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if, my daughter gets married and she wants to have a dance with me, I would be so stoked to have a dance with my daughter.
Mate. I got one daughter and I'd be cut if she didn't want to dance. I'd be like, you're dancing with me.
Yeah. But just like, I feel like there's so much pushback against all the traditions of weddings. And it has been for like the last 5 years. Like, there's been so much push for the wedding day is about you and you alone and make it all about yourself.
Yeah.
Which I get to a degree where, you've got to really have strong boundaries about what we want for our day.
Definitely.
But also I think people need to understand that like it isn't all about you.
Yeah, I agree.
Like your wedding day is about, the families coming together.
Yep.
Yes, you are getting married and you're pledging your love to one another forever.
Yeah.
But also I had a dance with my mum, like a first dance. That was so special and my mum loved it.
Yeah.
And like, why would I ever not want to have that?
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't mean like everyone has different family situations and everything like that. But I just feel like naming them as outdated is just wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm just, it's like such a special day for your parents. Your parents have raised you forever.
100%.
You found the love of your life. You're getting married. Have a dance with your parents.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it was like me and Shannon got married young. I think I was maybe 23. I think she was 20 or 21 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so me being the young little whippersnapper upstart that I was, I didn't necessarily have the greatest relationship with her folks kind of like in the early stages.
Yep.
And so I just kind of, I'm not trying to bash him, but like he just kind of set like a weird, nerdy British guy that just didn't really have much confidence and stuff. And so and then you got me and I'm like outspoken and whatever. And so I was just like, no, like we'll just do our first dance and so I just kind of, I'm sure like it was definitely a group, just like it was between me and Shannon. We just still decided what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But like I have like my relationship with her dad now is just like way different to what it was then.
Yep.
I flipping love the guy. Like I have such a good relationship with him. I have so much respect for him. My old boy's not all that great and I don't talk to him anymore. And so I see him way more of a father figure because I actually, maybe it's more me being a dad now that I understand like him.
And the meaning.
Yeah. And so then I'm like, dang, like, why didn't we do that?
Yeah.
And that's even been from Shannon's perspective where she was like, I loved my dad growing up. He was the best thing ever. I'm going to be so distraught. Like she just like idolizes him.
Yeah.
And it's like, why the heck didn't we do that? And it was probably around that time where it was like, we'll just do what we want to do.
Yep.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Like
you can't get that back.
You can't get that back.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they were saying like, just like you don't have to make it a big thing. Like don't go up and dance in front of everyone. But then also like, doesn't that take away from the specialness of it? And also as if the party starts and you're like, hey dad, let's have a dance.
Yeah.
Like Sandstorm's playing, let's go dance. Like, like I think that's a whole like tradition around it is like, I think it's supposed to be special.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a big event.
Yeah.
When in your whole life are you going to dance with your dad?
100%.
Like
100%.
ever.
100%.
And like I love them because usually the first dance sucks Like, no, seriously, like the
Yeah.
dude can't dance for shit.
Yeah.
And then dad gets up and rocks it.
Yep.
And you're like, this is sick.
Yep.
You know, and it's like,
That's-
it's usually the father-daughter dance is better than the first dance.
Yeah, 100%. Have you seen those like choreographed ones?
Yeah, epic.
Where the dad and the daughter dancing, doing something?
I've seen so much like swing dancing and everything
Yeah.
like that. I'm like, this is the best.
This is sick.
And it's like, yeah, I just don't, and especially like probably still our generation, our dads were kind of around that demographic of like those dancers back then. So
Yep.
they know how to dance.
Yep.
And then
definitely.
it's just like, we'll just take it away because it's not cool at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just your wedding your way.
Yeah.
I wrote down a point on that and we kind of hashed on it on another episode where it's like, if you want the wedding day to be about you, elope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like there's nothing like, actually, even I heard super early on in my journey into the industry, and it was like, if the wedding day was about you, you wouldn't ask dietary requirements.
Yep.
Because like, why would you? You don't care if someone's pescatarian or carnivore or what. Like, you eat my food.
Yeah, exactly.
You eat, like, this is what this is the food that I like. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
These are the drinks that I like, and this is what we're doing. Like, it's not about you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're hosting a party.
You're hosting like a big party
Yeah.
with
The
all your friends
ceremony-
and family.
Ceremony, different story.
Mhm.
Ceremony is 100% about you. That's when you're like doing all the official stuff. It's the beautiful stuff. We're really living your heart love story, all that. But the rest of the day, I don't think it's necessarily all about you. It's still about you.
Yep.
But it's not all about you.
Yep. Okay. Then going into first looks, yes or no?
I think I'm still kind of a sucker for just doing it at the ceremony.
Yep.
Like me personally, I love it from a photographer point of view.
Yep.
I love them.
Yep.
It's another photo opportunity, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Get some epic shots, some epic like intimate moments.
Mhm.
Or not, no, emotional moments.
Yep.
But from like my soft side, I don't know, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice that like people get to see, like we were just doing that St. George wedding and the groom like broke down at the front of the aisle. Like
Yeah. So good.
everyone got to witness that.
Yeah.
And like no one's going to be like, oh, that's cringe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like I've even heard, I think it was when my sister was getting married and they were like, oh yeah, actually this might be from, actually this is probably terrible. This goes to, I can't actually reference. I think it's from Bride Wars or something like that. Where it's like, oh, my favorite part is like looking at the groom.
Yep.
And whereas most people are like, oh, I love to see the bride walking down. It's
Yeah.
like most of the time I like to look at the groom.
Yeah.
I remember when my sister walked down the aisle and I was the best man of the wedding.
Yeah.
I was bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
Like it's like those beautiful moments that if you're doing it in a first look, you don't really like no one really gets to be part of.
Yep.
You?
I love them if they're going to do personal vows.
True.
Because I love that the couple can then say exactly what they want and it is just them two.
Yeah.
And I think if you are going to, like, a lot of people feel the pressure to have a wedding, you know, like I don't think it's as simple as saying like, well, let's just elope because how many, you know, that's a massive thing for parents. And then you just took that away from us and you went and eloped and didn't include us.
Yep.
So I think like that's a good way that if brides or couples want to kind of have that little intimate moment for themselves, they can go do that, say their personal vows, and then still come back to the ceremony and say all the legalities and everything like that afterwards.
Yep.
But then they've still had their private own, like pretty much their own little ceremony together.
Yeah.
And being able to do that by themselves.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, like obviously it makes beautiful photos and everything as well. But then even so, like by the time you finish that, half your portraits are done.
Yeah.
You know, like then you've etched out that extra half an hour of like portraits you no longer have to take afterwards.
Yep.
You've got more time for canapé hour and then maybe you're just going back out for sunset photos or something like that.
And I think that's kind of where it comes back heavily into like, I remember being a part of my mate's wedding, actually shot at Tom's wedding.
Yep.
And I remember it was kind of the first time I'd really witnessed it where we kind of got up early for whatever reason, went and got brekkie and like coffee and all the things. Then we kind of came back to the villa and we were like, all right, so when's Stevie getting here? And I think it was probably around midday-ish. And then we were just like, all right, it's like 6.
What are we doing?
Just like kind of were like entertaining ourselves a little bit. But then and then it was like, cool, you came, took photos. And then it was like, oh, we're still not leaving for like another 2 hours or whatever it was. Yeah. And so then it was just like, same thing, just going back to like killing time.
Yep.
Whereas if you kind of did stuff more in the morning, like everyone says like, oh, your wedding goes so fast or whatever. Yep. Don't get to really be a part of it. But like if you did your photos before the wedding and not necessarily, you can still go out for sunset or whatever and do 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you did some before the ceremony, and creating those moments of like private vows or those types of things, then you could do your ceremony, group photo, family photos. Then you can probably be a part of your canopy out for 45 minutes, an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you've only got to duck out for 10 minutes, especially with like daylight savings and stuff. You might even start your reception first and then duck out for 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say against it is I've done it a fair few times in the past, like in summer, and it's like brides are melting. And you're like, well, it's just people are melting.
Yeah.
And then like they kind of finish, ceremony might be 4 by that time and they're finishing those photos at 3.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they got to redo makeup because they're all sweating and they're all kind of toast.
True.
So I think it definitely depends on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe summer isn't the time to be doing first looks.
Yep.
But like 100% winter, like it's already getting dark early.
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't you, when you don't have that much time, like you're doing, a first look at 1 and you're doing photos till 2 and then you got a 3 o'clock ceremony.
Yeah,
you're not going to be sweating. You're not going to be a mess. And you're going to be able to roll straight into things. And then you don't have to worry about the sun going down too early and missing out on like everything.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Especially because like we also did a wedding recently where we had them joining canopy out for 30 minutes or something like that. And then all of a sudden, I think someone was late to the wedding, someone important. I think it was maybe a parent or something like that.
Yeah.
So they ended up delaying their wedding 30 minutes. Well, then that's the 30 minutes gone from them joining that. And so then it's like we ended up having to do their family photos inside on a couch, kind of like where we are now.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's just the best we could do because they prioritized getting bridal party and their portraits and stuff.
Yeah.
Where if you did some stuff earlier, then it's
exactly.
just kind of better run sheet flow. I
Yeah.
guess. Well, we wanted to discuss like the respect that we kind of noticed at that wedding recently out of St. George.
Yeah.
One thing that we both like observed in our own minds and then discussed it. We were just like the respect that the people out in the country have for like their friends and family, but especially like their elders.
Yeah.
They might not necessarily even like have the greatest relationship with them.
Yeah.
Or even if you're a guest or whatever, you might not necessarily even know them. But like just the level of respect that they had for those people was like almost odd for me. You know what I mean? Like it's something that you don't really see that often.
Yep.
It's something that you don't really see that often. And so, it was like, some I've seen in past people doing speeches, maybe dad's doing a speech or something like that. And he might be rambling or whatever it is, but he's probably up in his feels and he's probably reminiscing times with his daughter or whatever was going down. And you look back at one table and they're like, they're looking around the room or they're on their phone or they're just like, oh, when can I get up? I got to go to the toilet. Yeah, watching the foot, like just all the thing. And you're like, oh, we just don't care about anyone.
Yeah.
But it was just like refreshing to see.
It is. It's a completely different world, I guess. And it's like, I mean, I think it is a difference in the people as well. Like living in the fast-paced world versus, living in the country as well is different.
Yeah.
And the amount, most people that move along the East Coast, they're probably not living by their family or anything like that. And it isn't their whole world.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. Like, I wonder if it's just like they value the people around them because there's less of them.
Yeah.
And so they've got to really sew into their friendship groups, their relationships, all those types of things.
Yeah.
Because they might still live 45 minutes apart.
Yeah.
And in the city, that's like, bro, I'm never coming to see you here for 45 minutes away. But out in the outback, like that's just around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they've grown up together. They've gone to school together. They're half of them are going to get married to each other and their kids are going to know each other and everything like that. So it's just like they are such a tight-knit community that just stay together. But I guess they just get taught from a young age, like, and it's hopefully what you get taught yourself, but it's like you got to respect these elders. You got to really look up to them.
Yeah.
But it definitely isn't the same when you go to like a city wedding or an East Coast wedding. Yeah. It definitely isn't the same.
Especially like there was, and maybe this was that whole kickback kind of era, but where it was like, you got to respect your elders. You got to respect your elders. And then it was like, I'm only going to respect you if you respect me.
Yeah.
I remember, dude, I was that guy.
Yeah.
I was that guy in like high school saying that I'm only going to respect you if you're going to respect me. And now I look at it, I'm like, shut up, you idiot. But yeah, I don't know. It was eye-opening.
Yeah.
I was just like, dang. Again, maybe I'm just getting way more sentimental because I got a kid and stuff now. But yeah, it was refreshing.
Yeah. And I mean, probably the wedding industry probably is also a young person's game. Like, in general, most of the industry people, like they start young in the wedding industry, and so they don't have kids, they don't have like families and everything like that.
Yep.
And so, and also like what we were just talking about earlier, I don't know if it was on a podcast or not, but talking about how your couples, you get older, but then your couples stay young. And so you're constantly trying to like evolve and be relevant to these 25-year-olds who I started off the same age as, and now you're 10 years older than.
Yep.
And it's like you're constantly trying to like, be the same as like the 25-year-old essentially.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, it's like it ties into that a little bit, and don't want to be the old guy, but like the younger, like all the younger generations come through seem to care less and less about family and about their parents and all that. Like I know that's a big stereotype.
Yeah.
Very broad, but in general, it's that's kind of just the way it's going as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is sad.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair point.
Cool.
And first looks with parents. How do you kind of structure those?
I love them as long as like the bride is taking in and like accounting for enough time. And we kind of need to know ahead of time that's what's going to happen.
Definitely.
Because then like the hour and a half, cool, maybe it probably still can be an hour and a half, but like makeup has to be done.
Yep.
And then we're going to roll straight into this, so we can kind of get that done. And then we can always tell dad, like maybe even tell him to be there 15 minutes prior to when he actually needs to be there, so we know he's there. Have, everyone else dressed early. So then like when the bride's getting into her dress, everyone's already ready. They're looking good, so we can kind of keep things flowing.
Yep.
I love them. Like pretty much guaranteed dad's going to cry.
Yep.
They make awesome photos.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just more so like an organization side of things.
Yeah,
like everyone needs to be organized. We need to know ahead of time. It can't just be sprung on us like, oh yeah, and dad wants to get a quick look.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I need to go set up tripods because you want a ceremony edit.
Yeah, yeah.
And now like that's going to not work. So it's kind of like trying to choose what you need to have.
Yeah, definitely.
And it always comes back to that you're going to accommodate for the first look. And then you're just going to be running like crazy
Stressing.
trying to get those tripods done. And, bride's just arrived because she left just behind you.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to really be on your toes there and just hope that the celebrant has a line out that, like that everything runs smoothly.
Exactly.
Because if it doesn't and you don't have time to work on the fly, then the whole ceremony edit's screwed.
Yeah.
So it's.
And yet they've paid you for that extra. Like it's probably an addition. So it's like I've paid you like $500 to $1,000 for this extra thing.
Exactly.
And you sprung this on me. Now I can't do this thing that you paid me to do. And
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I definitely love them. Family photos at the house, probably not. Like I feel like we just do them and then we get better shots after the ceremony.
Yeah, I had this discussion recently with a couple. I think their wedding's still to come. I can't remember who it was with, but I was chatting with them because they kind of had like a full list written out of like, these are the photos we want at this. And I was like, cool. Like we can do that, but also like understand like they're probably not going to be the greatest photos because we're going to be kind of in a kitchen or something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Probably not the greatest lighting. We're still going to be doing family photos later on. It's going to be in a way nicer spot. It's in the gardens or wherever we're at.
You chose this venue for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas we're probably just stuck in a hotel room or something.
Yeah.
But also like they just take a long time because then like mum's stuffing around or their mum wants 17 different combinations of photos and like it just can be a lot. And I'd almost rather you to just like, I've been telling you, or you've had someone telling you what to do for the last however many hours, hair and makeup, photographer, all the things. I'd rather you just take 10 minutes to yourself and just be able to breathe and be like, cool, Joel's left to go set up the ceremony or whatever.
Yeah.
I've got 10 minutes up my sleeve to do nothing now.
Yeah, exactly. And if you really want photos with just you and not your partner and your parents, we can do that as well. Because like I find like a lot of those photos are like I just want photos with mum and dad by myself and my immediate family by myself without my partner.
Yep.
If you want to do that, we can do that
100%
after the ceremony.
Yeah.
It's just same thing, organization, having a list, but that won't take long.
Yep.
Like that's literally like, cool, mum and dad next to you, siblings next to you, grandparents next to you, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to look way nicer and you're still going to get the photos with the partner, without the partner, everyone's happy.
Yeah. And it's as simple as like doing it that way to make it quick and convenient. You get the bride to stand there, not move, and then groom get out.
Yep.
Parents in, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like smash it. It literally takes like 45 seconds.
Yep.
And you can get like 6 different photos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then very last thing before we wrap up, what should couples inquiring with you do and not do?
Couples inquiring with me should do and not do.
So you haven't booked them yet or anything like that. This is my first inquiry with Wander and Follow.
Mm-hmm.
What should they do when they inquire, and what would be a red flag for you where you're like, I don't think I need to get back to these people?
Yeah. I even remember reading on a friend's website, and it was like, I'm busy. Well, maybe I didn't read exactly like this, but it was like, hi, like a busy wedding season. I get back to you in X amount of days. I also won't respond if you're a like tire kicker, essentially, if you're just like price shopping.
Yep.
And I was like, that's pretty bold. But like also you're probably never going to book them anyway because the price shopper's never going to book me anyway.
Yep.
There's 100% cheaper out there.
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, like the obvious ones, like, and I get one a week or whatever of it, where it's just like price please or, you know, something like that.
Yep.
Like, yeah, like not even a high or something. Like you know, obvious red flags.
Yep.
And
do you still just send them out stuff anyway, or you just like, I'm not even going to bother?
No, I do.
Yep.
I do. So like my standard that I do, I like reply to them and then I'll send them a text because I find that a lot of my messages go to spam.
Yeah.
So I'll just shoot them a text and be like, hey, might have gone to spam. That probably also went to spam.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, for sure. Like even messages don't get through.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but I'll still do the same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones that aren't so price shoppy,
Yep.
they've maybe taken their time to write down, like I've got a couple of things that's like, tell me about you guys or something like that.
Yep.
And they might have a flipping paragraph in there. I'm like, oh, they've taken some time to like write that. So then I'll like take some time in my inquiry back. Oh, like loved it. You know, I'll try and reference something back like, oh, it'd be so awesome to see your dog Coco at the wedding.
Yeah.
Love that. I've got a little dog called Coco too.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog called Coco. But yeah, just like try and make like they've taken the time to make it personal for me. So let's like make it personal for them.
Yeah.
I've still got a standard template because you still want a price.
Yeah.
You still want to see galleries. You still want all these things. So I'm still going to send that all to you, but I can still like change it up and personalize that a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And will you send out prices and stuff like that before you get on a Zoom call, or will you wait until you can kind of? Yep. Cool.
Yeah. If I was really like struggling for work, I wouldn't, and I'd go more my sales route of like trying to get them on the call, get them on a call first, and just try and get them on a bit of a yes train, and you know, pre-quiz them or whatever beforehand. And then I would send them the price guide and whatnot. But now these days I send them back that, and I think that's why a lot of the people that I get are flipping sick.
Yeah,
is because they're like anyone that has booked me, they've seen. I think I send like 4 or 5 galleries. Yeah, I send my entire Vimeo account so they can go through any video that they ever want. Yeah. Don't go through any of my early ones because it's not great. I did it the other day. But yeah, like they can actually see like full blown wedding galleries, not just what you see on my social media or anything like that. So for me, like that's more important. And so like anyone that actually gets back to me and says like, hey, yeah, we'd love a Zoom meeting with you. Yeah. Because that's what I offer in my email. They're kind of already pretty flipping solid. Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Like they're not scared by the price. They love your work. They like your work. You're available. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Have you got anything else to add to that? Like, have you got any red flags or lubs? Not really. Like you said, yeah, obviously the price please ones. Yeah. It's like half the time you're like, do you even bother? Like when you're not getting many inquiries, you're like, yeah, I'll still bother a lot. But then when you're getting a lot, you're like, maybe I don't even. Like, do I even bother sending an email back? Yeah. I guess that point. Like, I don't remember the last time that I booked a wedding that came from, it'd be interesting 100%. To have a look, but that I actually booked that came from Price Please. Yeah. I don't think I booked any. Yeah. So it's like, is there literally any point? You know, like apart from like, you don't want to be rude like them, but also like if they haven't gone to the effort, if they've sent that to 10 people, they're not going to notice you didn't write back anyway. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's any harm in it. It's like, different story if you're writing every single email out.
Yeah.
Like I've already got a template, so I can just throw that in.
Yeah.
It takes me 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
truly.
Yeah.
I've probably got another 10 that I was probably already doing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's not going to, I don't feel like it's going to hurt if I send it off, especially because like, I don't know, maybe they've got friends and then they like say, oh, this person never got back to me.
Yeah.
And then that person gets married or engaged or whatever. And they're like, oh, I'm not going to hit them up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, try and keep things professional all the time, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I guess like let's even hash on like we had we aired it in the Josh Withers episode.
Yep.
Obviously he had a clip go pretty not necessarily viral, but like had a lot of engagement.
Yep.
Within the industry on videographers attaching microphones and stuff to celebrant stuff. I guess for me, especially because I'd only really heard about bad experiences like duct tape to microphones and stuff. I'd only ever heard of it.
Yep.
And then I worked with a fella and he did it.
Don't ever do that.
Like that's crazy.
That's like, come on.
Like
how is that a thing that you would consider being okay?
Yeah. And like clearly from like the commercial, I still don't even really understand that. But like clearly from the commercial world where gaff tape is just so
You would never,
used.
never in the commercial route. There is no way.
Well, true. Because they're $1,000 mics and stuff.
No chance. Ever.
It just,
That's okay.
I was mind blown. It's like those things that you hear about and you're like, oh, crazy story. But it's like that's
must be in America.
Yeah. But like the fact that I saw it, I was like, oh, bro, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like go on Etsy and buy the $40 sleeve that takes 7.5 months to get here.
Yeah. And even it wouldn't be okay, but like that the whole painter's tape that at least like you're not going to peel paint off.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to don't ever tape it regardless.
Like that's on you if you don't get audio recording.
Yeah,
like do a better job, be more professional.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of where it went back with Josh, where he was like if you had celebrants that brought good PA systems, we'd never have to touch anything.
Yeah, for
right.
Sure.
But it's because of the ones that have and one in particular that it looked like the radio thing from Toy Story.
Yeah,
it was so flipping old. It was older than Gabbinbar Homestead. And like I can't get a line out from that because it was not only can I not even get a line out from it, it was so bad to listen to. Like if you're a guest, if you're the couple that have paid this person somewhere upwards of $1,000, and you rock up with this R2D2 looking thing, bro, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess that's when those celebrants have to be okay with you attaching it.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like 100%. They have to be like, well, this is okay.
And it's not going to ruin your machine any more than it already is.
Exactly. They're probably not going to be so precious about their equipment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like, I guess that's a hard one because like when I watched that and then the next day or whatever we had the wedding and then the mic cut out and that saved us and it saved me so many times.
100%.
It's like I will try and attach that every single wedding.
Every single doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Even if the celebrant's like, my system's good. Yeah. You're good.
I'm still going to push back.
Can I just put that on there anyway?
Yeah. I've never had an issue with it before.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, I fully believe that it like you need to get the recorders, not the wireless mics.
Yeah.
So no like
Rode
DJI
mic
or the Rhodes or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they're interfere with the frequencies and stuff. This is a standalone recorder. It's like holding a pencil. It's like someone having Ray-Ban Sunnies with a microphone on it.
Yeah.
Except it's on the mic. So like I understand the technical side behind that.
Yeah.
But also like
does it look good? No. Does it feel good in your hand? No. It doesn't at all.
No.
But it's like until there is another system, and I think that's what
we can lab up the groom, we can lab up the celebrant. I can't really lab up the bride. I know that people in America and stuff like that, it's big on.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna like mic up the bride. You know, I'm never gonna like she's got a couple $1,000 dress. I'm not gonna put a ugly ass
even if it's white. Exactly. But even I had like that other one where I was like, it was a 20-person wedding. Wrong on me, assumed the celebrant would bring a microphone.
Yeah.
Didn't bring a microphone. I just luckily had a lav and the pencil mic in the celebrant's pocket. Awesome audio. Lav on the groom. Awesome audio. And then someone come up and did a reading.
Yeah.
No audio.
Yep.
And I'm like, yes, I could have researched more and been like, who's doing recordings or who's doing readings? And I could have laved up all those people.
That's a mish.
But it is something I could do. Like if I'm going to make everyone else have responsibility for their jobs, that's something that I could do. And then that's completely on me.
Fair.
Like I could do that for every single wedding. Hey, celebrant, are you bringing a microphone and a PA? Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
If they're not, okay, how many...
Send me a photo of the back of it.
Yeah. How many people are going to be doing readings?
Yeah.
And then I take that many labs and I lab up all those people. And that's something you essentially could do.
Yeah.
But then it still comes down to the fact that you've got a line out for the mic, which could drop out. Hopefully doesn't.
Yep.
You could lab up the groom, but then you could still have no audio for the bride, realistically, because I'm not going to lab her up. And then, so then you're just going to have missing vows or whatever. So it's such a good backup option to have. And it'd just be like, we're all trying to help each other out on the day.
For sure.
And I feel like, yes, it does impede the microphone and it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good. But for the bride and groom to pay for really good audio and video of their ceremony, it just helps us out.
For sure. Definitely.
And I think they're going to remember that. I've never seen a mic cut out because of that microphone, over the recorder.
Yeah.
If it does, like for 1 or 2 seconds, the bride's going to remember the cutout in the ceremony edit more so than the live ceremony.
Yep. Definitely.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just all my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Like I just wish everyone had awesome gear and you wouldn't have to think about it.
Yeah. 100%.
It's not even a thing.
But it definitely does make you think, like, Josh touched on a point where it was like, I didn't realize that videographers were relying on us to do our job or do their job kind of thing.
Yep.
And it definitely did make me think where I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely do rely on celebrants bringing a PA.
Yep.
Like I've said it in previous episodes where I'm like, celebrants, just get a flipping good PA.
Yep.
Because I guess that was just a standard.
But it's their job.
Yeah. Well, I thought so.
Like it's not our job to give them a microphone and a something to,
Yeah, I agree. And I think
do we pay the musos to bring we pay for a guitar so we can get some good audio from the guitar? Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how far do you run it?
Yeah. And like we've even had that conversation before, was where we're like, do we start bringing PA systems to guarantee that we're going to get good audio?
Yeah. Seriously consider it. Like you just keep it in the back and it's like, it's cool. We're going to spend another $1,500.
Yeah. And that's the tough part. And like, I don't really like going down this train, but where it's like, when you're a photographer, you rock up with like a camera or two and a couple of lenses and a couple of batteries and you're good.
Yeah.
Videography, you got like 3 different tripods, gimbals, handheld rigs, lights, like all these things. And it's like, where do you stop?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, especially if we go down the train of like, how many labs do I need?
Yeah, exactly.
How many pencil marks do I need? How many line outs? And the line outs, you need all the different connections, cables, cords, all the things, because of they're all different. Yeah. So it's like, where do you stop?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and there's one dude on the day and getting paid $4,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
No. There's like videographers have to get paid at some point more than photographers.
Oh, dude.
Coming from someone that does both, like they have to.
Dude, I don't understand how it's not there. Like how, like, yeah. Again, like, I do both. And like, I get it from the sense of photographers where they say like, oh, like the videographer can just kind of jump on the back of my planning and the run sheet and all those
photographers, director.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I would say heavily being, that we work together, a lot. And even I've worked with a few other people. Even when I'm a videographer, I'm jumping in and saying stuff.
It's almost like half, but yeah.
Yeah. Like there's some certain things that you do that are going to look crap in my video. So
exactly.
Like I don't want them standing still looking at each other's eyes. I want some movement. I want this and that, and, different things. So like, sure, there's going to be some that don't do anything, but there's also some that do a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And like me being a videographer, I still literally meet with all those couples and help plan a run sheet.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm sure that there's, by the sounds of it, other videographers that just kind of say, send me the photographer's run sheet and I'll rock up when they do.
Yeah, for sure.
Which again, I don't think is right, but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Love it.
Awesome. All right. See you, mate.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Hi, mate.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedco podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day.
your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.